player that I think maybe doesn't get enough creds on the side of ANDBOX is Boy. I feel, you know, like any good Omen, he knows how to use his paranoias to set up amazing plays, but I think he's just above and beyond a lot of the other Omens in this region. So I want to say keep a particular eye out for him, but as we move on to Split, we are going to be seeing the Viper in play, the Sage in play, so it's everything that we expected and hopefully a little bit more. Tanner, this is going to be one wonderful game.
Wonderful, exciting, explosive. I'm expecting all of the positive adjectives to come on into this one. As again, it's a brand new Split. It's the ANDBOX that in the past, you know, struggled, not necessarily with their roster, but with Poach being sick, now being in and being a huge player for this team, a huge point of contention for this team in the best way possible. And just like the run that we've seen with NRG in this specific open qualifier, ANDBOX has looked so incredibly strong as well. And, you know, you say for 100 Thieves, they take first strike. You have to put them up there as the reigning kings. But Sentinels have been sitting comfortably on top when you go from site to site, checking out who the number, 1 through 10 teams are in North America. And if you're looking at that specifically, I think we might quite possibly have an upset on our hands as we jump on into things. And Mid Control going to be the name of the game early in round 1. Guys, the quarterfinals of the Valorant Champions Tour Challengers Open Qualifier number 1 starts right now.
And it starts silently at that, Tanner. Mid Control has been completely conceded, and ANDBOX have taken control of it. Sentinels, they much rather would play a bit more passive. You see Sinatra holding this angle with a frenzy. It's kind of the dynamic duo with him, if you would. What he's going to do here, probably toss out those paint shells as soon as he hears or sees contact being made, and they're sick of waiting on the site as well to provide perhaps a nice necessary bit of crossfire. Push comes in though, ANDBOX, they need to move quick right now, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do. There it is, Android pushes in, finds the opening kill. This is huge now for the attacking side here.
Yeah, what was traded back in that wall is absolutely separated on this side as a nice tag comes through. Dapper with the spray down, not even killing the
one enemy remaining.
First, is able to find a fourth.
One enemy remaining.
Is still alive. Finally, Android sits him down.
Now 30 seconds left.
And kick things off earlier here in the round. Up towards mid, got a nice little dink. I believe onto Sinatra up towards heaven and forced him back. It allowed that B take to come through. Now with spike in hand and 26 HP, not able to close it out. It is Zombs instead. And Sentinels, maybe against all odds here on Split, go back to their winning ways. And ANDBOX, their map pick, it's followed by the wayside by what?
Well, it's just the first round, though. It's still very early days, all things considered. And since that one was so close, it's a bit of a gamble if ANDBOX actually choose to force up. Because they did make that close for, if you zoom out a little bit, they made it incredibly competitive. And I think that 1v1 could have easily gone the way of Android because of that fiery performance that he had yesterday. But it isn't going to be a save, or excuse me, it isn't going to be a force-up, rather. It's going to be a save. So a couple of sheriffs across the board, but all in all, you're going to see ANDBOX probably give up this round for the most part. You're going to have to see some crazy shots hit. Valorant, it's such a mechanical game, and right now they're kind of spreading their wings wide and really not messing with anything else crazy. ANDBOX actually do find the opening kill. That's Ye to find the opener onto Shazam. And ANDBOX, now you see they're biased towards A. They're moving all their players into formation, but there is a Spike who's still sitting over towards Sewer. That's a potential mid-pincer you're looking at.
Android once more. Playing around that mid position with the wall there. Things kind of get harder. Looks like that wall did just drop down, and it's a 4-point stance as that's all they've got. A lot when it comes to the players' numbers. Now rotating over towards this B site and through B main, they've got that nice Viper's wall, so that toxic screen. It provides the concealment, but not the cover, right? Obviously can still be shot through, and if you're sprinting on through, they obviously can expect you to be coming.
30 seconds left.
Cam, try and get some info.
Good peek.
Nice little jump peek there. Down the cyber case and able to find the kill through the smoke. Make it another. Dapper looking to have himself a game. Sinatra gonna back him up, but fall, and Sentinel should be able to close this one out. Okay, it's looking spooky. Seb was looking to make him his way onto that highlight reel for tomorrow's video. Unfortunately, not able to do it with the Sheriff. It's expected, but now we get rifles and we get to see ANDBOX. It's slow to start, but then once they do get it rolling, everybody starts firing on all cylinders. They start moving forward. It's that W key, that aggressive approach, and I kind of like that. I like that they're not necessarily choosing one or the other. They're getting a nice little mix of both, and they're playing the entire map. You start at A, you make your way towards mid, you feel it out, you end up on B, and then last round rather, on the pistol, they were looking to do the opposite. They started on B, went back towards mid, tried to get to A, and unfortunately they died. So we'll see now with rifles if they keep that same approach. It's a little harder to run and gun. Some people in chat might feel differently about the run and gun, but we'll see how it turns out here.
Well, changes apparently coming soon in that regard, but Sentinels have taken heavy damage in both of these rounds so far. Again, still early days, anything can happen, but Sentinels do have a inferior buy, it's inarguable to say right now. Not to say that they don't have Phantoms, they most definitely do, and a very important player is actually holding over towards Heaven. The undeniable MVP from yesterday's Sick has it available to him. Shazam awaiting alongside his teammate over towards Vents, towards Ropes. I'm not exactly sure if they're going to walk into the trap, but no, they seem poised on the idea. Boy finds the opening frag, but he needs to actually do a little bit more here. Shazam, it's not going to be the case. He gets 2 before he eventually falls, but it's still only a 3 versus 3. Sentinels are keeping even so far, but this next frag needs to go their way, or else everything just might go wrong. There it is. Blue appears in the kill feed, and it's all going the way of Sentinels as they close it out. 2 players are left standing, that being Sick as well as Dapper. And right now, they are looking more than Dapper. They are looking fancy. Sentinels, they get off to a wonderful start. Now 3-0, and the money is also going to be in their favor.
Heavily in their favor. I think at the least, or at the most rather, we see from ANDBOX is that Sheriff light armor like we're seeing on Ye right now. I can imagine they can force up a little bit, but hoping to buy in that next round. And I think notable for ANDBOX is they're just running the Rays as far as duelists. So this eco round is a little awkward because sometimes you have that jet and you have those blades, and then that eco round could really go either way. They don't have anything like that. They do have the showstopper, but that bad boy can really be hit or miss. We're about to see it is going to be a miss. The flash goes out. Android to open things up, upgrades the gun from the pistol to the Phantom. As Sinatra trades one back, Poach goes down, so no utility from the Viper. And the most unfortunate, the team has stormed the site, but the spike is down and in the crossfire here. As Sentinels are able to lock this one down. Slow orb gonna go through. Sick picks up 1. Looking for some more as he swings around the Battle Sage. Coming out on top in this round. Boy with the close corners. This is such a bad spot to be. You have to retrieve the spike, and there is a lot of time. But I don't know if it's enough to pick this up. 3v3. Nobody actively peeking. As I say that, though, Sinatra on the backside, able to find one, make it another. That's 3 on the round. That's 4 on the round. Sentinels close it out. It looked like a good eco from ANDBOX, but Sentinels once more silence this team.
Well, they gave it a good college try. You have to respect it from ANDBOX. They got off to a good start again. That was a wonderful double satchel into the showstopper. You know, they got off on the right start, the right foot, but unfortunately tripped just as soon as they started, leaving that spike over towards A main. It definitely hurt their chances. So, you know, at the end of the day, you need to go ahead and make sure that you keep the spike with you. So you have lessons that you have learned from that one. ANDBOX, they once again have a lot more tools in their arsenal to make this one more possible. So, you know, not all hope is lost. It's much easier said than done to account for all these moving factors. But ANDBOX, I mean, look, kind of think of them as the dark horse in this tournament for a reason. They have another go at it there.
They do have another go. Round 5 is where we might see the first one up on the board for ANDBOX. And I think you brought up a good point, right? That spike going down in a weird spot. Just the round prior, their first rifle round, it was the same thing. It was, I believe, a kill from screens onto somebody with the spike, and it left Seb all by themselves in a 3v1. Had to go retrieve the spike, which wasn't too far, but it's just one more mission you've set on top of, hey, don't forget to 1v3 clutch here. So maybe ANDBOX take it a bit slower when it comes to hanging onto that spike, making sure that this spike carrier can actually make it on with the team rather than being that last man.
Poach is selling this fake.
Is he, though? There is a lot of action going over towards B, but the rotation actually coming out towards A, and one still on the site here. And Omen going to be holding it down. 6 still up in heaven. They're hearing the footsteps, and they're just going to spray him down. 3 kills to come through. Sick once more with a double kill. The Battle Sage and Poach, who was trying to buy the attention, unfortunately needs to buy a lifeline, needs to buy something, buy somebody in. Now a 1v5, 14 seconds, a 5th round to
10
Sentinels.
seconds left.
And ANDBOX, not only their map pick, but they got a win on it yesterday, so they might have been feeling hot coming out of this one, but once more, Sentinels, they go back to their winning ways on this map, and I guess your consolation prize here in round number 5, Poach, is you get to hang on to that Vandal for another round, possibly, unless those paint shells take, okay, 1 second left on the clock. It was spooky, and now ANDBOX find themselves backs against the wall. It's going to be quite possibly a hero Vandal, maybe a bit of a force around this Vandal. And they almost made an eco round or a thrifty round work a few rounds ago. This rifle could be what it takes to get it done. This time, they have the Neural Theft and the Rolling Thunder. So they can look to do things a bit more smoothly, especially if somebody is still hanging out on that site.
You know, that was just a wonderful read from Sentinels, though, to get back to that round real quickly. Poach originally kind of did sell it. You know, there was 4 players sort of biased towards B at the beginning, but they had a wonderful read. I'm not sure if it was an audio cue or the fact that there's no action, but then they immediately burst over towards A, and they had the crossfires ready. And this time, they're going to be handsomely rewarded for their efforts, as this 4th set from ANDBOX already doesn't find a kill in their favor. 2 kills in their favor, and Sentinels are just counting it up right now. 6-0 looks more than possible at this point, but nothing is going to be certain until you see that final player fall. And it seems that it might happen soon. Sick finds another.
The Sentinels, they've got something. This is no accusations here, but they have killed the spike carrier in just about every single round first. That spike always finds its way on the ground as they clean up there. It was, in this one, it was Ye with the spike on the breach. He pushes up, he gets taken down. Seb picks it up, then Seb gets opt, and then it finally ends up, I believe, in the hands of Poach. I don't know what's going on. Sentinels, they just have that sixth sense as to where that spike carrier is. Because again, it throws a huge wrench to have to worry about picking that spike up and then relocating, especially when that spike dies right in the open or lands right in the open inside of A main. So I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but it's looking pretty good, and it's working for Sentinels. 6 rounds in a row as we bounce back. It's round number 7. It's the 3rd rifle round to come through from ANDBOX, and they've got a whole lot of work to do. You need to put up a couple here on attack if you are going to look to play this one out and win out defensively.
Well, you can always see a comeback happen. 6-6 would be the best possible case scenario right now, but Sentinels are just playing this in a textbook fashion. They are systematically destroying ANDBOX right now as the score is looking more and more grim as time goes by. They just cannot come out on top of almost any fight. There's a rare example where it actually does go their way. Boy, who I pointed out as being a solid factor for ANDBOX, gets one towards themselves, excuse me. Spike not in their grasp once more, because once again, Sentinels have had such a strong read on it. The crossfires come into play, and the round is over without even a chance to take a glimpse at the site itself. Sick is on one right now, 11-1. He's continuing his performance from yesterday and going above and beyond. I'm not saying this is a 13-0. It's way too early to call it that, but this is definitely the scariest possible position to be in if you're a fan of ANDBOX or if you're ANDBOX themselves.
This feels like if there's 13 rounds available in this map, there is a playbook. And for round 1, round 2, all the way around 13, it's all played out. And Sentinels have that playbook. They know exactly what ANDBOX is doing. And again, they just run right into all the damage. Sinatra picks up a few, make it a 3rd. It's another eco round. It's the spike down, the kills to come through, and Seb able to find one. But it's so oppressive, Ito. I talked about ANDBOX trying to play it fast. But now Sentinels, they're in their groove. They are feeling it. And it's Sick and Sinatra leading the charge. And at this point, you have to think mid on this map for ANDBOX. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore. You keep going that way, and you're just going to keep... It's a permanent lockdown. It's a permanent orbital strike. You just can't go that way because Sick and Sinatra are just too good on it.
It's close for business, man. ANDBOX need to change things immediately. 8-4 now is the best that they can secure, and they have 4, nearly 5 ultimates to do it with. What I'm expecting that we should be seeing here is that take on the ultimate orb and then maybe a double satchel through? No. They're going to do it completely differently. They're going to path over towards heaven, try to take advantage of that, but guess who's waiting there? It's Shazam! He's more than ready in this sort of scenario, and this is those protocols from Sentinels really coming into play. Shazam is not done though! Speaking from an entirely new angle, 3 kills, 3 different places. This man is all over the place. This map is his.
When does it stop? When does it stop here? Everybody now coming online. You looked at the score lines, and I mentioned Sick and Sinatra, but the kills from Shazam have been, I think, mostly up kills for the entirety of this game. He hasn't had to buy anything for quite some time, as he's sitting on 9,000 credits, completely maxed out.
Gucci.
And now ANDBOX, you still have your defensive half, but this round, it's definitely looking like double digits going the way of Sentinels, with Sheriffs, with Stingers, or a Stinger and a Spectre up in the next, and quite possibly the following round, the last. But they have to something going right here, and you need to be wary. That operator is here. Satchel charge on. That is the Stinger in the hands of Android. Now gonna try and get close quarters here. Finds the dink, but the shots are just landing for Sentinels, and everybody coming online. They were looking for a team ace, but it's Shazam to find 3 and a flawless round for the Sentinels.
It's just a broken execute right there. Now, mind you, that was with mostly pistols. There was a Stinger and I believe a Spectre in the mix, but this is where they have those heavier tools. It's just a complete stomping. Like you said, the prophecy has indeed come true, and we are going to be seeing double digits for Sentinels, but these ultimates have been sat on for so long. Dapper hasn't even had the chance to build up his neural theft because he hasn't had to do anything. His team has been doing all the hard work for them, and Odin will be bought up into this next round. And already the double digits are secured, but Sentinels could easily just pop all their ultimates to maybe find number 11 here. Either way, you're going to be seeing those ultimates pop soon. It's a matter of when. And quite honestly, when is their best chance to use it? It's got to be really, really soon. They just have not been able to get anywhere close to a site. Finally, they have something go their way, Tanner, but it's not too little too late, but man, it feels like it.
It doesn't feel great. It definitely doesn't feel great. It feels like, I would imagine Sentinels have an extra player on their team. What is going on? Is there a 6th man? There's just no breathing room wherever they go. Now they're going to try and push up the Odin right in the face. It's a 2nd kill to come through, but Sinatra evens the odds immediately.
1 enemy
Rolling
remaining.
Thunder might not get a whole bunch done here. As I say that, though, Boy and Seb able to go on the flank. Now looking to close it out.
Good.
Once Doms will peek. And it is a round picked up by ANDBOX. Now, I don't know if that is, hey, we found the way to beat these guys, and you have to do it at the very least once more. The economy might not be too great. I'm expecting, okay, no, should be full armor, should be able to get a buyout for Android. I think Sentinels, they're just having fun with it. Dapper had an Odin that round, holding down B side. So it seems like Sentinels are really, they've just settled in. It is just comfortability right now is where they're finding themselves. And in the rounds previous on that eco, Shazam picked up that 3K, and he even matched the Arsenal a little bit. He got one of those kills with the classic. So, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that for the Sentinels here. ANDBOX, you can put up a fight here, and if Sentinels could put up 10 on defense, I would assume they can too. So this is going to be one of the more important rounds, says that Boombot. Gets a bit of help from the satchel charge. Now the B-side can be stormed through the wall. There we go. The flashes come out. Dapper finds one, but Boy trades it back.
Oh, no.
Not a bad try there, but Sinatra goes huge. The showstopper. Looking to find the 11th round is Sinatra here. 3 kills with 1 on the horizon. It's Android to try and trade it back in a 1v4, but it's Sinatra on the flank. The paint shells one way. The shots from behind. Sentinels are firing on all cylinders.
From Overwatch to Valorant, this man frags hard. He has been unstoppable alongside everybody else on Sentinels, mind you. There has been nothing to shut down these individual efforts from every single one of these players. It's unreal. It's oppressive to play against. Like you said, there was a couple of close calls for ANDBOX towards the beginning part of this half, but it has been the Sentinel show through and through. That is undeniable. Sure, they had a glimmer of hope in round number 11, but you have to stop talking about glimmers. You have to zoom out a little bit and think about the big picture. And this is that ANDBOX's map pick is going the other way entirely. There's nothing more to say. Sentinels just have everything on lock. They're going to give it another go. ANDBOX this time on the defensive end, like you mentioned, Tanner. Playing around this Viper is going to be their best bet. It's something that XSET do incredibly well, so maybe steal something from their playbook. You're going to need something going your way.
Ooh, there it is. That's a good start. Paranoia get a blind Shazam as it came on through. The wall off, but nobody feeling comfortable from Sentinels to push onto this B site. And Boy was actually hanging out with the classic right in front of him. So worst case scenario, would have been able to drop that frenzy, pick up the classic. Now trying to peek it down. Sentinels looking to just run right at the wall here. Stick into the program. As that Sage wall going to get a bit of denial on an angle. Out from that Omen. Boy not going to find too much. Not going to have that Shrouded Step either. The B site has been conceded, but it's still a 5v4. Make it a 5v3 as the Sentinels all start to fall here on this B site. ANDBOX trying to close it out. As I say it though, things get a bit dicey as Zoms finds 3 for himself. It is closed out, but low HP on 2 put ANDBOX in a very scary position. This is the way that you battle back. We're going to see that force up, I would imagine, from everybody across the board. I don't know if you want to save for an op in round 3 on defense from ANDBOX. I think everybody, there it is. Spectres across the board, and you just mow them down. You know they're going to play aggressive here. You know Sentinels are feeling hot, so they're going to take the gunfights. They might even ego peek you, and we'll see if ANDBOX has the recipe to stop that here.
It is definitely so scary from ANDBOX, you know, the fact that it went down to that 2v1, and the frenzy is such a wild card, you never know what to expect. But ANDBOX had some wonderful positions, great fundamentals right there, traded each other out as perfectly as you can get, and they are, again, handsomely rewarded for their efforts. 1 round going their way, only a dismal 2 that they have at the moment, but it's a start. It doesn't matter how slow you move, but you have to keep moving forward, and that's exactly what ABX are doing right now. Another kill in their favor. Shazam on the flank, and finally, maybe a bit of a read from ANDBOX. Something has to go their way. Surely they don't get stopped by this flank, and they won't. There's nothing at all that can be done on the flank, and finally, it's something a bit more convincing. It's a very clean second round victory. Sure, they had 2 fatalities, but they shut down all the big problem factors. Shazam, ineffective for the most part. He was traded out. These are the things that ANDBOX need to continue doing if they want to make this comeback happen. This isn't far gone. This is their map pick after all. You have to expect stuff like this.
You see the bonus round now after this. Not much of a bonus, at least not a bonus for 2. Android and Boy sitting low on credits. So even if they pick this round up, they need to make sure that they are one of the ones staying alive, or at the very least their teammates can drop them in the next. There's a lot of damage coming on through that Viper, getting a whole bunch of utility there with that toxic screen and the snake bites. A little bit of vulnerability. Not going to find the spray down though. That vulnerability is no joke. A couple of body shots sit you down nice and pretty. Like you don't even have to worry about popping the grape here. As Ye going to play that off angle up towards heaven in those rafters, and 6 spraying things down, trying to make sure no trap wire was there. A flash going to be expended, and he just backs away. 3 members still hovering over towards this B site. It looks like Sentinels might try and make another hit towards A. Poach holding on towards heaven. And it's just nice and slow. This is Sentinels now taking a deep breath, understanding, hey, we've lost a couple of rounds. This one's pretty important. We don't want to hand over all of this momentum. Shazam with a nice smoke. Sick, gonna pick things off, though, or start things off with a pick onto Android. Now things dicey. This Valorant is a game of rotations, right? You get a kill here, and for whatever reason, you just run over there, and that's exactly looking like the game plan. This fight could be dropped, though, down onto Rams.
Huge.
Sprays down 2, holding down heaven, and Seb is there to back him up. It's all up to Sick. Needs to frag out here for his team should they want to push to match point, but it's looking like ANDBOX to find a 4th and to continue battling back. 1 kill comes through, but it's Poach to sit him down in the damage Ito. Only 2 members going down. It was the 2 that needed to not die because their economy is poor, but their teammates should be able to buy them, should be able to drop them, and ANDBOX, they're starting to ramp up.
And they've done it. They've actually pulled off not an upset, but like a round that was going to be probably one of their toughest. They just jumped, leaped over a major hurdle of winning that bonus round versus the Rifles of Sentinels. And I want to point out, their setups were beautiful. What you pointed out, it was Ye kind of playing that off angle by Rafters. What he was doing was actually playing for a flash. That way, as soon as he made contact, he would flash and Android would be able to retake control safely. And that's not what they're doing this round, but it's something that I think they're going to be utilizing a lot down the line. Yay, speaking of which, we'll be doing the exact same thing. Flash, back up to a safer location. These are, again, great basics from ANDBOX, and they're going to be rewarded if they keep this sort of thing up. They're on the right track, Tanner.
A couple of weird off angles. This is one that we've seen spike in popularity with this new split. Is Ye gonna get so much value of his own? Pushing up through, he's gonna give up his position and find a couple of kills, pushing up towards B Heaven. Now, Shazam, sure as the information was given, but they already knew he was there from the kill, and Seb to sit him down. It's all up to one. The running spray down gets it done. Dapper, unfortunately, probably not too happy about that one, and Seb left on 6 HP. ANDBOX battle back. They have not dropped a round just yet, but they need to keep going. 6 more in a row to tie things up. 7 to put them on match point, and they're still playing for the win. This is the best time to mount your comeback because you're not just playing for, okay, let's extend the game. At this point, you are playing to win the game. You still have that breathing room of 1 round from map point. Now we take a look at the ultimates available. A Resurrection still up for 6 should he not die early in this round. Shazam has those blades and that from the shadows for a bit of information. Yeah, and there it is. Poach gonna lock down that A site all by himself, and we'll see how much value this gets. I know that ultimate sometimes falls a bit flat, so we'll have to pay attention. For now, it looks like everybody deterred away from that one.
This is a great move by Sentinels, though. I think they're going to try perhaps a pincer through ropes. They've had a lot of success with it for the most part, and they know that Poach is no longer holding towards Heaven. Never mind, ANDBOX are done. They don't want to have to deal with any crazy sit-ups down the line. They're looking to take fights right now, and they're winning them. Boy comes in from behind to remove Sick from the round, but that's all the ultimate users out of the picture entirely from Sentinels. You have little bits of utility on the remaining members of Sentinels, but for the most part, it's going to have to be a beautiful 2 versus 4. That's how it starts. 1 opening kill. Beautiful trades out, and ANDBOX win it. 6 rounds in their favor. Sentinels, they're not struggling. They're so close to being able to choke out and finish up this map. But ANDBOX are slowly but surely fighting back. Now 5 in a row. So many ultimates about to come online as well, Tanner. I want to point your attention to that. 6 out of 7 for 3 of these, I believe it's Android. Yeah, Android, Yay, and Boy, excuse me. You want to see a fight for an ultimate orb here. I think that's going to be massive.
That last round, maybe with that Viper ult, would have been the Viper's Pit would have been a good place to start.
Get out of my way.
Not going to have that this time, so a bit harder to push up, especially when your Viper wall doesn't get as much value as that Sage wall, where you could wall that off and then just go for that orb. So nobody fighting for it just yet as Shazam going to pop the Blade Storm. And it's another eco round. I believe it was Stingers across the board for Sentinels. Those blades obviously mean a bit more. And the Sage is across the map here. So Sick playing right next to Sinatra. The Res has been held onto for 2 rounds. This will be the 3rd if we don't see that one go off here. And Sick just put in a bad spot. Okay, there's another bad spot. Sinatra going to go down. Wow. Now, this is probably your best bet for that Res to come through because Boy has to reposition, doesn't want to give up too much info. But then you have to be wary, right? I don't know if that Sage has actually picked up the barrier orb, so does Sick want to trade that out just for a res here on the eco round? It might be another round where Sentinels go down and they don't look to battle too hard back into this one. A lot of it weighing heavily on the shoulders of Shazam to get it done, because those Stingers, unfortunately, at range, it's real RNG. It's really real fishy if it does pay off. But an ult onto the back of the side. Now things are getting a bit dicey. Boy put in a bad spot as the smokes come through. There's the wall going up, and Zol's not spotted out in the back. We'll find that kill. Dapper coming up through mid, able to find the flank, and the neural theft. The ultimates that were available are starting to pay off, and there is the resurrection. Sick goes back to pick up his fallen member. They should be able to pick up a couple guns on this site as well as Android tries to hold it down. Rolling Thunder comes through. He's got the ultimate available, but Sinatra sits him down with the paint shells. Grenade greater than rocket launcher here in this game. But you're right, they're running out of time.
Stay out of my
Wow, a very fast round, but it did not start until under that 30-second mark. And ANDBOX somehow, some way pull it out.
They lose to the clock, not the players. ANDBOX somehow clutch it, if you would, in a 1v3, but all he has to do is not die. That is such an insane round. Sentinels, they even played that so well too. One thing I want to point out that maybe kind of flew by everyone's radar because it was only seen on the radar is the fact that there's a smoke tossed out from Zombs that blocked off Heaven, and that usually gives the impression that there's going to be someone late lurking or trying to prod Heaven. But no, Dapper was playing all the way back to catch off both Poach as well as the other rotator. The name escapes me right now, but it was so greatly played by Sentinels, but they just burned off too much time. They ended up looking like old T1, and unfortunately, that's going to be another round that they concede. And, well, it's anything but unfortunate, I suppose, if you're a fan of ANDBOX, and how can you not be with how they're playing right now? Sentinels, in this round, however, have completely changed up the pace. Just when I was talking about how amazing their last round was, they've completely switched everything up, flipped the script, and now they're playing a completely different sort of game. Spike planted, and a whole nother round for ANDBOX to deal with.
All 10 members still alive here on Split. Sinatra low on HP, so maybe not long for this world, as Sick was forced to use that barrier orb to get away from the snake bite. Now we'll see if he can get much more. Nope, it's going to be the Cyphers to trade a couple of kills back and forth. Seb on low HP will eventually fall. Now Sinatra hanging on, has that rocket fuse ticking down, needs to use that ultimate if he's going to. 32 HP, going to fire that one out, not going to get too much. And the spike just ticking down. It looks like ANDBOX are okay to let this one go by the wayside.
One enemy remaining.
That's going to be match point here. That is a very interesting round. Everybody goes down except for Dapper
Match
and
point.
ANDBOX. They're just A-okay conceding that A site. And the last two rounds, this game gets closed out. If you have 10 more seconds for Sentinels, right? Once they get everybody on that site, it is easy beans for those guys to close out the round. That's exactly what we saw. So if we went back a round ago and you start pushing a little bit before that 30-second mark, maybe 45 seconds on the clock, this game could be over. So now ANDBOX, I feel like, are in trouble. It looks like Sentinels has found the answer.
Answer so far. There's still plenty of time for counterplay. ANDBOX, they're going to be the ones trying to dictate the pace early. So since they've sent two people over towards B main and they haven't found anything for their trouble, you're probably going to see on that radar a bunch of rotations coming through. And there you have it. Boy, he is just going to be following his teammate, his comrade in arms, to try to bring it out over towards A and possibly B Heaven. This is a ton of information gained by ANDBOX, but it's undeniable to argue the fact that Sentinels have a wonderful position to play with right now, because they also have a strong amount of map control, and they're just a double satchel away from being able to probably force ANDBOX to concede the site or fight for their life. It's all quiet for now.
A different approach as Boy gonna find the first. That's a great start here for ANDBOX. And again, it's not Sentinels storming onto the site. They're playing this one slower, and ANDBOX has a pretty good read on it, and they're holding steadfast. They're not worried about what's over towards B because they've got one pushed so far up towards B main for the entirety of the round. Now the remaining four are looking to get up. One gonna get tagged out there. Sinatra gonna find a kill and trade. Poach is out on Heaven though, and they try to get onto the site, but they're just mowed down. ANDBOX come up huge there, and it's all off that first kill towards mid. The clock once more running down, and Sentinels were forced to make a play.
Time is of the essence, and God, it feels like right now they're just tampering with a resource or fooling around with it. Sentinels, again, they burst onto the site at the last possible moment, but they have kept a strong amount of utility in their favor. Poach was just able to hold the line. Satchels were used from Sinatra by Heaven to try to provide some sort of pincer, but they were not ready for that man Raptor. As Poach, he has been doing some wonderful work. Not top fragging, sure, but he has definitely gotten a number of impact frags. He's been doing his part perfectly. Sentinels, they're definitely struggling to close this one out, but it's like I said before, they are just one round away from being able to completely snatch us away, bring us onto map 2 with a map in their favor. Sentinels, once again, look to move quickly, but an awkward exchange in the smoke. They're going to be kissing through it, and unfortunately, Seb will get the killing blow. Of course, Poach tries to appear from the rafters, but you have to think at the same time, Sentinels right now, they're struggling. You can see the panic in their faces and the way they move their mouths. This could go either way still, Tanner.
It's looking to go the way of B site as they storm onto A. Things kind of go a little sour. Now they're looking to rotate back towards Heaven. out into vents and back towards B. If anybody could do it, it is Sick and Dapper in a 2v3 to try and close things out. And ANDBOX looking to do their due diligence to slowly creep back through this spawn. Gonna clear out all the angles, and they surely will hear this spike go down. Now, importantly, Sick only having the heal
big.
available. Ooh, Dapper with the first pick and to stop things. Coming up from the spawn, now backs away into heaven. And you have to be wary about where this Cypher is playing, especially when he's looking to get that aggressive. It's looking to be the back of the site, though. A lot of utility here for Android as they stack up into the back. Android and Boy coming on through. This is the life on the line here for game one. It's planted out for B main. You have to assume they're playing out that way. He's going to push through the smoke. The spray down comes through. Dapper finds one. Now needs to find another. He's healing up. Boy going to push on through. Finds the first kill. Needs to keep the tournament life alive. He's not going to do it here. It's game one to Sentinels.